What's up, guys, and welcome back to the UGC Dota 2 League. This is going to be game number 2 between Finest Gaming and Lamperkat +4 L4. Oh man, that was some game 1, and all I gotta say is, guys, buyback is important in Dota. And if there was some mechanic, let's say there was a skill that killed you, and if it killed you, you weren't able to buy back, that would be pretty strong. That's exactly what happened. Finest Gaming currently up 1 game over nothing. Lamperkat +4 gonna go with the Terrorblade once again. It was incredibly powerful. Like, I think if ever there was a 322 game, that game might have been it. So yeah, just gonna give the chat one of those nice ones. And well, Terrorblade Skywrath Mage, it's a nice strong opening for Lamperkat. It's going to serve them very well, I'm sure. But man, Finest Gaming, with the Necros pick winning them game number 1, or the Scythe winning them game number 1, and then Lycan. Now, Lycan is a hero that was incredibly powerful. He was top tier, cream of the crop, number 1 desirable hero in 0.81. Now, I don't know if that's the case. He got hit pretty hard. His shapeshift actually has a transformation time, so instead of just pressing that button and bam, you're in action, suddenly you have to wait. And you're more like a lone druid where you're like, okay, it's time to transform, here we go, and then you finally transform. So just having that and a couple of other bumps, I don't really recall what other tweaks he got, but he is not exactly the same hero, and I don't know if he's actually premium material anymore. That being said, he is going to be the pickup for Finest. No matter what happens to Lycan, he will still be able to push. The question is, how much do you value that? Finest Gaming, they're going to go with the hero Lycan, and that's going to let them push. Liquid Fire plus the Wolves plus Howl is pretty dangerous, and Lamperkat have to respect that. Nature's Prophet is going to be a nice pickup for Finest, and conceivably they can just go all in on the pushing strategy. Pick up the unit-based heroes, go for something like a Nature's Prophet, maybe even go for a Enchantress type of hero, and then just bowl down the towers, one after another after another. And Lamperkat, they do have the Terrorblade, who can fight in spurts, but if you're facing up against consistent push from the likes of a Lycanthrope, there's really not much you could do about that if you are a Terrorblade, because if you're caught without your Metamorphosis, you can't fight, you can't counter push, you can't really do anything. Skywrath Mage is going to be able to do some, but definitely not enough to stem this tide if it is in fact the Finest side's choice to go for nothing but balls out aggression and pushing style, which I don't know if that's necessarily what they want to do. They may just not be the type of team to do that, but if they do decide to go for it, then it'll be devastating for Lamperkat, because they have to ban out someone. I think they have to ban out Nature's Prophet. No, it's going to be the Brewmaster instead. I mean, Viper and Brewmaster are still pretty powerful heroes, so these bans aren't really bad, but Finest Gaming are on a pretty clear path right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Pugna or a Nature's Prophet. Those two heroes would be pretty nice. Pugna is fantastic here, in fact. Though the towers did get more armor in 0.82, the blast doesn't do physical damage to the towers. At least I don't think they do, unless there was some ninja change that I'm not aware of. So the blasts still do full damage, and that means the towers are going to fall. I think Finest, this is a nice opportunity for them to just go full out and push things, because you wouldn't really get a much better opportunity. And Lycan, since he can't fight as well as before, you might as well just do what he's always been good at and push towers. Lamperkat, they're going to go for Centaur along with that Skywrath Mage, so once again they're going to be playing, looks like that very much so 4 Protect 1 style of play with Centaur, Skywrath Mage, and then whoever they choose for their last 2 heroes going to be trying to hold down the fort while the Terrorblade just gets a little bit of farm up. It worked okay last game. Definitely was slightly different in the fact that they had an Omni Knight instead of a Centaur, which is why we see Omni Knight banned out right now. Very much so respect ban towards 2C, who held the fort with the mid lane Omni Knight. Yes, you heard that correctly. Mid lane Omni Knight was actually played. So yeah, kind of interesting way to lane that. I think Centaur is going to be going to the off lane or soloing a lane, whatever that may be. Most likely it will be the bottom lane for the Centaur, as Lamperkat's still going to be looking for another support as well as a core hero. Again, I would like to see a stun setup for the Skywrath Mage. Earthshaker last time was the combination that was run from the Finest Gaming side, and it was no, from the from the Finest Gaming side. It was okay. It wasn't exactly too impressive, as the Mystic Flares were not really on point. But if they pick up a Vengeful Spirit or a Shadow Shaman or a Lion right now, it will severely restrict the counter push that they have, although Finest looks like they're not going to go for that, so it's not, at that point it's not really relevant anymore. but it'll let them easily 100 to 0 people. So Lamperkat, they do have that option available to them, because really with just the Centaur Stomp to initiate for Mystic Flare, that's good once the Centaur gets Blink Dagger, but until that happens, your Scarif Mage is going to be freehanding him, and it's not going to be the greatest. So a little bit of setup is always going to go a long way for Scarif Mages.
10 seconds remaining.
Centaur War Runner, and then met by a Tidehunter. It's going to be the attempted matchup for Finest Gaming. Between the two, it's going to be a fairly even lane. They both kind of serve similar roles. They're both really tanky. They're both really disruptive on the front lines. The core difference really is that Centaur is aimed at killing off one person, whereas Tidehunter is meant to do damage to everyone. You know, anchor smashing everyone. Gush to focus that one target, but that's pretty much it. You want to just be able to focus that Ravage. Whereas for Centaur, the goal is to jump in, kill, get out. Usually a lot more simple. So, you know, those two heroes, they do end up going against each other in lane. The Anchor Smash is going to be lots of sustain damage coming out for the Tidehunter, and Centaur probably isn't going to have the greatest time there, but with Double Edge and the threat of the Hoof Stomp and then just Fist Fight, this Tidehunter has to make sure he doesn't play too over aggressively either, as the lane could go either way. Now that being said, if that lane matchup does in fact happen, then Terrorblade, Scarif Mage versus Lycan Jakiro. Lycan is notoriously bad in lane just because he's melee. He doesn't have any huge steroid like the Terrorblade has, and Jakiro is rather mediocre in supporting, as we saw in the last game. So I would favor Lamperkat if that does come to pass, but it may very well be that Tidehunter is going to be going up against that, in which case Scarif Mage Naga Siren is not going to be capable of shutting down this Tidehunter. I'm assuming this is going to be a Naga Siren support, although I wouldn't put it past Lamperkat to go for something a little bit different with this Naga Siren. Maybe mid, but odds are it's going to be a support Naga, and when that happens, you have right now 3 melee heroes in the game, and that's something that you would already like to try to avoid. It is a nice setup for the Scarif Mage, I suppose, but Naga Siren and Terrorblade aren't really going to be doing too much to the Tidehunter, especially if they get hit with an Anchor Smash. If that happens, no damage is going to be going to the Tide, and suddenly Lamperkat, their aggressive capabilities are shut down almost completely to 0. Not a good circumstance to be in. But, yeah, Finest Gaming, they're going to go for a Sand King. It's a nice little pickup. I don't really like where they're going with this. I really would have liked to see them play a little more aggressively. They're going to have Teamfight more or less on lockdown outside of the Song of the Siren to disrupt them. Between Ravage and Epicenter, they will be able to do pretty well. However, again, the Lycan is going to be problematic. He really will be, because he can't really just jump in and fight. He has to, like, prepare himself a little bit more, and that could be the difference between winning a fight and not. That being said, Finest Gaming, the Sand King Jakiro, not a great combination. It is a stun setup for the Jakiro, but Sand King generally wants to play things super defensively, and I think that's what Finest Gamer are going to want to do. It's going to be Sand King Jakiro and Lycan on the bottom lane, Tidehunter up top, and then Finest, they're looking for one more core, probably for that mid lane, unless they want to juggle the lanes and really catch me by surprise. So mid lane heroes are going to be most likely the order of business for both ends, and it looks like Finest are expecting this Naga Siren to be played as core. It's dangerous for sure, but Naga Siren and Terrorblade core seems like you're going a little bit too wide, whereas you should be going big, if that makes any sense. Like, they make a lot of illusions of themselves that are dangerous, but they're not themselves really dangerous, at least for the Naga Siren. A little bit more for the Naga Siren. So I think it's going to be a support Siren. If it's not, then Lamperkat +4, just pick up someone with a disable and then they'll be set. But Naga Siren in the mid lane is very, very easy to counter. I would say Finest, they could put a Tidehunter there, Sand King there, hell, they could even put a Lycan there and be just fine. It's actually probably the best scenario for Lycan as far as lanes are concerned in this particular game. So it'll be an incredibly, incredibly weak way of laning this for Lamperkat. No, they're going to go for Ember Spirit. That's a total of 4 melee heroes for Lamperkat. Situationally, it's only going to be 3, as Terrorblade with the Metamorphosis will give himself some range. But Finest, their Tidehunter and Sand King are going to have such a great time because of this. These are heroes that excel when they're up against more melee heroes, and Finest, they're looking for another core themselves. There aren't really many great range heroes that benefit from being in close. A Gyrocopter would be an interesting pick from Finest, but they're looking for a mid hero as well. Knowing that they're going to be up against an Ember Spirit, really there aren't many that great heroes that completely shut down Ember Spirit. Go for an Invoker, that's fine. They have a very nice, very balanced, very .61-esque lineup for themselves. Like, most of these heroes were touched on .82, but nothing too huge. But Invoker as the last pick is going to be just a nice solid anchor for Finest. It's going to actually allow this Sand King Jakiro combination to get stuff done. Because ordinarily Burrow Strike and Ice Path is okay if you're supporting for a Gyrocopter to come in and blast people down. but if you're not, then the damage is going to be lacking just a little bit. So adding a Sunstrike onto the top of that is probably going to be the difference between getting a kill and letting someone escape, especially when you're considering someone like Terrorblade who has Sunder and everything like that. So if you don't burst him down quickly, you may just walk away. We do see Terrorblade being once again played by Lamperkat, load out with 12 tangos. That's exactly what he did last game. Not too sure how much I like this. The 5 stats from the branches is certainly very nice, but that's a lot of regeneration that you're probably not going to need. He's expecting a tough time. The rest of the L+4 heroes, we have Shalom playing the Scarith Mage once again. Mid lane is going to be handled by 2C on the Ember Spirit. Rather impressive performance by him as the Omnight last game. This time he won't fall off as much. Naga Siren is going to be played by Naga Siren, and We Forgot is going to be handling the Centaur. Over towards the finest side, we have this guy. I don't know why they do this to me, guys. I don't know why they don't pick just easy to say names, but Sand King is going to be playing as himself. Mimo is going to be on the Jakiro. That leaves Wrong on the bottom lane as the Lycan. Mid lane is going to be Bidman on the Invoker, and top lane is going to be KJ on the Tidehunter. And it looks like they will just leave the Centaur here all by himself. It's a pretty dangerous lane, but it definitely could be more dangerous. Lycan is not really something you have to worry about as Centaur, and though Sand King and Jakiro are both dangerous together, it's not enough of a danger to make Centaur really scared. So he's going to be just fine. Now that being said, Tidehunter on top lane is going to be perhaps under a little bit more pressure. Unless L4 keep the Scarith Mage Naga Siren here, no, they're just going to secure the Bounty Rune, whereas Tide takes double damage and then rotate everyone up. Kind of to be expected. Okay, so we do have Arcane Bolt spam that's going to be flown towards the Tidehunter, and they do have the threat of Metamorphosis, so the kill potential from L+4, it's a lot more bursty, but it's a lot easier to get the kills in the Tidehunter. If the Terrorblade doesn't get Anchor Smash and doesn't lose all its damage, then the Metamorphosis damage plus the lockdown of the Naga Siren, which should be gunning in Snare level 1, I think, in this lane, then you should be able to bring down the Tidehunter. It'll be slow, and you might not bring him down completely, but it's possible. And then at that stage, it's going to be Invoker versus Ember Spirit. I would say Ember Spirit has a really good time until Invoker gets to level 5-ish. Once it gets a little bit more exhort, then things get a lot more difficult for the Ember Spirit, but in the early stages, she'll be just fine. Lamperkat, wow, starting very, very early with the aggression towards that Tidehunter, bringing him down to half HP with the help of his friendly Skywrath Mage. But unfortunately for Lamperkat, he can only do this so often. Like, he could force the Tidehunter out of lane occasionally, but then when he's melee, the Anchor Smashes are going to reign supreme. Although, going for Kraken Shell level 1, not really going to help him. So I expect this to be, for the most part, a super passive early stage. It's going to be L4 just wanting to get this additional starting damage and starting gold on the Terrorblade, get him to a couple levels before they actually try to go for the Tidehunter, who is, in general, just a very hard nut to crack. And Naga Siren should be disrupting this pull right now, but she's going to let it happen for whatever reason. I don't know why. You probably would be better off not doing that, but that's fine, whatever. We do see a smoke up from Mimo, as well as Sand King. They're going to be looking for the mid lane. Now, it's going to be very difficult. They do have boots and level 1 Burrow Strike, so though normally Burrow Strike level 1 is still crap, with the boots it makes it a little bit less crap, although it is still pretty crappy. Killing off this Ember Spirit is still going to be tough, though. The Sunstrike has to land perfectly. They also need to get a Cold Snap on. Courier Snipe is going to be a little bit more likely, but they're going to come around from the side. Burrow Strike is going to land. Already the Flame Guard is there. Sunstrike is going to connect as well as the Ice Path, but the damage onto the Sand King is going to be way too high. It looks like the Ember Spirit is going to survive, although he turns around, trying to bait Bidman in to go in for more. This bottle is empty from the Ember Spirit, but he's going to survive. Everyone from Finest, though, Bidman as well as Sand King, barely making it out of there. That's a level 2 Flame Guard? Yes, it is. And that's a lot of damage over time. Here comes the support from L4. Naga Siren level 1, Skywrath level 2, possibly looking to make a return gank onto Bidman, who's still very, very weak. Feeling pretty comfortable with his Tango and 3 Quas runes active, but if he gets caught by a Searing Chains, then it's all over for him. Here comes the Siren. She has 320 movement speed, and Bidman, I think, is just dead at this point. Concussive Shot is going to land. Arcane Bolts are going to fly. Ensnare, not even needed, as L2C is going to get caught up, and the Ice Path will kill him off. Sunstrike going to land as well, but it is going to be the Naga Siren to draw first blood. So even though the Ember Spirit did get killed, it was actually just creeps that killed him off. Naga Siren's going to walk away with that and gets the boots, gets enough gold for a courier upgrade as well. And now Skywrath Mage is going to find a little bit of a chance to get a couple of creep kills, a little bit of experience to himself. In the meantime, up on top, Terrorblade not being stopped by this Tidehunter. This lane matchup, TB versus Tide, is 100% in favor of Tidehunter. There's no way Tide loses that lane. But he doesn't really know where the supports are, so he has to respect that possibility. Also, we see Sand King on the bottom lane getting roughed up by Centaur Illusions. He has a lot of base strength. That means the Illusions are going to be doing a lot of damage as well. So overall, it is 1-1. The kill score stands, but L4 getting a slightly better trade in that 2C is going to be happily staying in this lane now versus the Invoker. It's going to be in a relatively even lane from here on out, I think. The Ember Spirit really needed that kill assist experience to equalize that lane, especially since moving forward this lane is going to be so much more difficult for the Ember towards the Invoker. Still in the bottom lane, Wrong is pushing this one out, has quite a lot of gold, and he's going to go straight for the Vlad. So it looks like Finest, they are looking to be super aggressive with this lineup once again. The Invoker as well as Lycan scale a lot better than their previous picks of Necrophos and Centaur and stuff like that. So they'll be fine to make these aggressive plays happen. We Forgot is going to be able to counter push this though, just by stealing creep wave aggro. Liquid Fire and Wolves though, it's decent enough as far as pushing is concerned, but they're going to be lacking the damage to actually do this. They forced out the fortification, which is I guess a pretty nice win, since the tower wasn't actually being focused by many creeps at all, so pretty nice for Finest. Eventually they'll have the Forge Spirits to add into that combination as well. Hopefully for Bidman, he doesn't get solo killed by an Ember Spirit or anything like that. And he's going to go straight for the Hand of Midas. They're going to catch We Forgot in the Ice Path. Here comes Sand King from behind. Burrow Strike is there. The damage for We Forgot is going to be enough. Here comes the Naga Siren. Going to get a net onto Wrong. He's going to get hit with a good amount of magical damage. Concussive Shot as well. This damage might be enough to kill off the Lycan. I think it will be. They just need to chase him down and make sure not to lose him. There it is. Scarif Mage going to find the retaliation kill over on this bottom lane. In the meantime, Mimo as well as Sand King both hobbling away once again at barely any HP. But it is going to be a 1-for-1. Scarif Mage taking that kill. Jakiro killing off the Lycan. So Finest losing a much more important hero than L4 did. Now in the middle lane, 2C, Regen Rune, not enough to save him. Just a Cold Snap, Sunstrike. Oh man, that was a lot of damage for the Ember Spirit, and you can't really afford to die 1v1 like this as an Ember Spirit versus Invoker. It's already not exactly a favored matchup for you. Dying solo like that is pretty much the worst thing you could do as Ember Spirit. I mean, obviously, dying is never a good thing. But he has to play it cautiously. He didn't respect the Cold Snap, thought his Flame Guard would be enough to protect him, and he was just wrong. So, unfortunately for 2C, his start isn't going to be as fantastic as it was last game, where he was playing the Omnite versus Axe. Very similar situation. He had a lane disadvantage, but he overcame it with the Blink Dagger, and he was able to make some serious action happen around the map. Ember Spirit is kind of a hero that just needs to have a better start. If Omnite doesn't have a great start, that's perfectly acceptable, and he could recover. But Ember Spirit, if he doesn't have a bad start, it is very possible to see him just be a non-factor in games. And I've seen it happen before, it's brutal to see. Lamperkat still farming up on the top lane, has only used 3 of his tangos thus far, though he is going to start using them soon enough. He is going to be ganked up, however. It seems like Sand King, no, he's actually not going to be jungling at all. He's trying to make these rotations, which is awfully noble of the Sand King, and it's nice for the team, I suppose. But I'd much rather be fighting 4v5 for the first 10 minutes of the game and have the Sand King pop out with a Blink Dagger and surprise people. That seems a lot more useful to me. I'd like to see the Sand King start stacking up some camps. Going for a kill into Lamperkat, though, using the Ravage. That's good, too. I mean, yeah, kills are going to happen. Now on the bottom lane, Lycan going to transform. The nice stun, though, going to catch 2. Mimo and Wrong, both potentially in a little bit of trouble. Lycan, though, is mad fast. He's going to jump right around that Naga Siren and then book it. 650 movement speed flat with no boots, and Lycan, you see how that transformation time really slowed him down. We Forgot got the 2-man stomp because of that, and that's going to mean a kill on the bottom lane for L4. However, losing the Terrorblade up on top, still the worst thing that could happen. This Terrorblade is doing very well considering the lane matchup. I thought he would be doing a lot worse, but still, if he dies, it doesn't really matter how well you're doing in lane. 2C in a little bit of trouble now as the Sand King does rotate in. Burst Strike is there. Sunstrike as well. Lots of damage. In fact, the Invoker with a deafening blast early on is going to kill off that Ember Spirit once again. Invoker holding a very, very firm lead in this lane over his Ember Spirit opponent, and I don't think that's going to change. KJ is going to be, should be holding the same exactly, although he's not for now. Lycan's free farming down on the bottom lane for Finest, and Invoker is working with that Hand of Midas. What L4 have going for them is the fact that Centaur is 1,000 gold away from his Blink Dagger, but that's pretty much it. I mean, Terrorblade needs a little bit more space and more farm to get going. Fortunately for him, he's not really being aggressed upon that much by Finest. Invoker isn't really doing anything to rotate up there. One rotation up from the Sand King isn't enough to say that they're stopping the Terrorblade, because he's always going to be farming in between that, so they need a little bit more. They're going to get brought upon in the bottom lane, though. Mimo is once again in a little bit of trouble. He's going to be bashed down by the Centaur. No Stampede needed, just a Fire Spirit jump in, or Ember... Fire Remnant? Fire Remnant jump in from the Ember Spirit. Man, all these fire synonyms, so hard to keep in track for Ember Spirit. But just a jump in, no searing, no Sleight of Fist searing chains, just the chains. And that's going to be that. Lycan still farming for his Vlads. He should have it. He does have it. And boots. Okay, good. I'm like, where did all your money go, bro? I know you did die once, but that's not really an excuse. So 5-4, game pretty even still. Finest with a slight gold lead, and that should be the way it is going to stay for the most part until like Ember Spirit gets his Battle Fury or Terrorblade gets a nice core item. Just because the Hand of Midas is going to be working overtime for Finest, who are potentially going to get ganked upon. Scarith Mage and Naga Siren both looking for mid lane once again, but their rotation was spotted out by a Radiant Observer Ward, and then 2 Radiant Observer Wards, so this could be a pretty nice fight for Finest if they had more mana. They are going to Arc Boots up and they have a Ravage. If Tidehunter had full mana, that would have been a fight that they're more than willing to take. Ravage and level 3 Burst Strike is easily capable of killing off these soft supports, and 2C, oh, dropping to 11 HP. Sunstrike is going to miss. That was a little bit close, a little bit, but the Invoker showing how much damage he could put out in this lane. His Exhort is being the focus. This is a pure Exhort build. This isn't your standard Invoker, where you go 4 Exhort, then you get 4 Quas, and then you do stuff with the Forge Spirits. No, 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 no. This guy wants to kill people with Sunstrike, with Meteor, and with Deafening Blast. And as long as he can keep them in place to land that Meteor, then that's going to be just so much damage. It doesn't even matter if you're Ember Spirit, because the Flame Guard is not going to protect you against this much early game damage from the Invoker. This is an absurd amount of damage that is very difficult to save yourself from. In the meantime, bottom lane, the tower is dropping pretty low. Stampede is there. We forgot. Going to try to land a stomp up to Wrong. He will get it out. And now the Ravage is out. 2C as well as We Forgot going to get caught with the Ice Path. And 2C taking mauled by the Wolf. Wrong is going to run his way out of there. Dual Breath is going to catch 2C. Sunstrike already used though, so it looks like 2C should be able to survive. Although the Wolves will just barely not kill him off. 30 HP. This Ember Spirit is just getting out by the skin of his teeth every single time. Here comes the Naga Siren. Very slow TP in, instantly to the sleep. What could they do off of this? Nothing. They can't do anything. They have to leave. Get out of there. Go, go, go. Okay, everyone back up. They might get this tower denied. Fortification. I think that actually would have been a tower denied if they didn't fortify it. But Sand King is going to be on zoning duty. That's going to be tower destroyed for the Tidehunter. But at the same time, Terrorblade, showing his pushing prowess as well, has not gone for that point in Sunder, knowing that there's not many people in his lane. He's going to get that at level 9 almost for sure. He's also not getting any reflection. I love this adaptation from the Terrorblade. Maybe not the Sunder. I feel like a safety point is always very nice, but no reflection means that, I mean, he wasn't trying to get killed on the Tidehunter. That simply wasn't going to happen. So skip it. There's no point in spending a skill point that you're not going to use. You might as well just not even get it. 6-4 right now, and both tier 1 towers have been taken on the respective off lanes. Finest, they have a Ravage in another minute, and Tidehunter is only 200 gold away from his Blink Dagger. Take a quick look at the other Blink Daggers. Sand King 600, 700 gold away from that one, whereas Centaur pretty much has his completed already. So We Forgot is going to look to make some action happen with this one. Lycan, still on this bottom lane. I don't think he's going to be leaving this for a very long time. I mean, he has the Vlad, so he's able to push out very aggressively. Level 1 Howl only. But he's able to tank up the creep wave, and then just put creep wave after creep wave into this tower. It'll be very slow, for sure, but they're going to get it eventually, as they do go in for middle lane. They miss the Burst Strike? Is that what happened? I feel like that's what happened. I'm not sure, but it seems like it. They're also not going to get the Haste Rune, as Ember Spirit is going to catch that one with his Fire Remnant mobility. Really putting the screws to the Invoker, I guess, but still Invoker's Hand of Midas, and he's going for a Yule Scepter. He wants the kills, and he's probably going to be able to 100-0 Terrorblade, Naga Siren, and Scarith Mage, if he catches them with the Yule Scepter and if he lands his combo correctly. And at the same time, Lycan is always going to be on this bottom lane, split pushing this one out. The Naga Siren is going to be getting a lot of farm off of this one, but really Naga Siren can't do much, because this could happen. Like, she could go in for Riptide, but 2 paw swipes of the Lycan, and suddenly the Naga Siren is in a lot of trouble. Stampede now is they're going to go for the mid lane. Mid, straight into that invisibility Ghost Walk, and that's going to be it. Stampede used for nothing. Blink Dagger also revealed. Blink Dagger not up yet on the Sand King, but Blink Dagger is up on the Tidehunter. They have a Ravage. They'll take down the tower. Now they're looking for a fight. Blink forward. Gonna get silenced. Good. That Ravage wouldn't have been good anyway. Now KJ gonna pop the Ravage now. Ravage. Can't get it out. In fact, he got the animation mostly, but it wasn't enough. Now We Forgot. He's going to walk away as well. That Ravage would have been the death of the Centaur only, though. Okay, so I guess it's kind of good that Finest actually didn't use that Ravage there, as they couldn't have gotten that much out of it. Lamperkat up on the top lane has been pushing up this tower, and Fortification is not really going to be doing enough. Level 4 Metamorphosis is the real deal. TP back from the Lycan, who's been aggressive upon up on top lane. He'll be fine to clear that. He put a lot of damage onto this tower as well, though pales in comparison to this Terrorblade. I feel like at this stage in Dota, Terrorblade just does everything the Lycan does except better. So yeah, it's hard to say. Hard to say if this Lycan pick has been justified just yet. I mean, he hasn't done bad things, he just hasn't done Lycan things. Hasn't done enough of it. He could still go for Roshan, but being on the Radiant, it's like, do you really want to just sneak in there? Seems a little bit risky. Especially when you could always get Roche jacked by the likes of Ember Spirit, Blinking Centaur, and Naga Siren. Invoker looking to flex his muscles down this bottom lane. Flame Guard is up for the Ember Spirit, though he doesn't have a Spirit to get himself out of here. The Invoker really wants in on this one. Holy crap. Calm down, bro. Alright, he's going to back off for now. Now Blink Dagger on the Sand King. That's 2 Blink Daggers on the Finest side. Potentially a third one in the works for the Invoker. He has his Yule Scepter up already, but I don't know if it's going to be the objective for him. Regardless, Finest with these Blink Daggers should be feeling pretty good to make a play happen. Whether it's go for another tier 1 tower up top lane, or go for a tier 2, or even try to force Roshan, it's all going to be pretty viable. Top lane, Wrong is going to start shape-shifting out. He's going to book it now. Ice Path going to cover his retreat. Sleight of Fist, level 1, not good enough to catch anyone, although Mimo, he's going to be fine as well. It's going to be on the bottom lane where We Forgot is going to barely live, but it's going to be the Skywrath Mage dropping the flare. It will, no, actually kill off the Centaur, so it is a 1-for-1 trade, though Invoker died before he got the kill, so no experience for him, unfortunately enough. A lot of damage onto the Centaur, and when your tankiest hero is going to be 100 to 0'd by the Invoker, you know you got to pay him a little bit of respect. That being said, it was a little bit too slow, and you got to kill for the Skywrath Mage. So he's sitting on 2-0 with the Skywrath, and he's going to be going pretty happily towards his Force Staff, most likely. I'd like to see Finest group up and try to make a play together. Lycan is great at split pushing, but there's no reason you have to always split push with him. You could put the Lycan on the bottom lane. Have Invoker, Sand King, Tide, and Jakiro run into this top tier 1 tower, and then even try to go for the tier 2s. It is 1 hit away, so these wolves are going to do it. I think 1 hit each. I don't think the armor is enough to kill in 1 hit. 1 hit each. Perfectly done. That was like spot on. The math is real, guys. Anyway, 60 minutes in and 2 towers down in favor of Finest. With the Jakiro, you would kind of expect that kind of play to happen. Or, yeah, 2 towers in favor of Finest, as L4 only have 1 tower. So that, the math checks out, guys. The math checks out. Still, they're Lycan, potentially in a little bit of trouble. Centaur is going to be poking his head up on towards top lane. Now Finest are going to mobilize exactly as I said before. 4 on top lane, Lycan down towards bottom. No, this isn't what I said. This should be Lycan. Tide, what are you doing? They need your Ravage. Especially Mimo, he needs your Ravage desperately. Searing Chains is going to catch him. Ice Path needs to get out, not in time. Hero's cast animations are pretty bad. Now they're going to initiate onto We Forgot, but still going for the Centaur. I don't know why Bidman keeps on doing this. Now the damage from the Terrorblade is going to annihilate that Invoker. Searing Chains, gonna catch the Lycan as well. Hoof Stomp is there. He's gonna shapeshift, but I don't think that's gonna be relevant. We Forgot gonna drop himself very low to double edge, but that's gonna be fine. Tide Hunter and Sand King not even having any part of that. L4 just having more people at the right place at the right time. And that's going to be that. A nice clean fight for the L4 side, can give them a nice chunk of gold as well as a good amount of experience. And they're even going to secure this kill on the top tier 2, probably. They have to respect the Ravage and the Blinking Epicenter, but 2C is going to run interference for that one. Sand King is in a very, very awkward position right now, and I think this tower might just be forfeit. They're not going to go for it? Really? Huh. I would have gone for it. But I guess that's just me. 2C is going to get called to Burrow Strike, and the adaptations are real. Lamperkat is going to be going for a Manta Style this game. He didn't even get Manta Style in the last game at all. He got Sanj and Yasha first, and I mean, they're both good items, but still, I don't know if this is, I mean, it's fine. It's a perfectly fine adaptation. Like, you'll be able to split out of some Invoker things and get rid of Anchor Smash, Liquid Fire, all that good stuff. It's not bad. That being said, Bidman is going to try the 3rd time with the Centaur, and he will kill him off this time. I don't know why Bidman is constantly running into the Centaur. I guess just because Centaur is always on his own, so he's the only one you can combo. But you're going to be able to kill off pretty much anyone at this point. If you kill off the Centaur, you kill off freaking anyone. I don't even mean in this game either, like in Dota. Like at this stage, you can kill off anyone who's at that level. So, Invoker's looking for more. Has almost his entire combo lined up, although they don't even need it. They just need to blink Burrow Strike. Yeah, Shalom is so screwed. There he goes, and in the mid lane, Wrong is going to be pushing that one out. L4 are going to be able to partially defend this one, but even if they defend this mid lane, they're going to worry about the bottom lane shortly. Mimo is going to get caught with the chains. Ice Path is going to fly wide. Now the blink forward for a nice two-man stomp from We Forgot. Double Edge is going to catch two as well. Wrong is going to book it in the other direction. He's faster than the Stampede, and he will make it out alive. You don't often see that. Hero's faster than Stampede, but he will stick the landing. In the meantime, top lane, the tower finally did go down, but it was a tier 2 tower trade as L4, they lost their bottom lane as well. And Lycan, the split push hasn't really been too impressive. His book is almost level 3, but I mean, the mid lane is still pretty much perfectly healthy. It's been pretty much all the other heroes from Finest that have been doing most of the work. Mainly Bidman, who's been, jumping around all over the place and getting kills with the Eul Scepter combination, and eventually he'll be able to pop the double Forge Spirits as well. I'd like to see this Lycan, I don't know, get a BKB, and but you can't really just get only level 2 book. Get the level 3 book, and then you gotta get a BKB and try to start fighting. But right now he's not doing that much. Ravage onto the mid lane, going to catch 3. The Sunstrike and Meteor is going to flatten the Naga Siren as Shalom dropping pretty low as well. The Epicenter is going to kill him off as they're going to try to go for We Forgot with the Burrow Strike. Where's the Invoker? Need more physical damage for this one. The Sandstorm's not going to be enough. Zanking way out of position there. Bottom lane tower was destroyed as Lamperkat is going to take that one, but I think it's going to be yet another trade. Mid lane is going to take quite a bit of damage. The Alacrity is maxed out in Exhort. Only 1 point in Wex, so not much additional attack speed, but a ton of additional damage. This is going to be a lot of damage to the tower, although Lamperkat looking to make that trade. This game, he's going to be going for the BKB, and just look at this tower melt. This is an obnoxiously high amount of damage, 224 a pop from this Terrorblade, plus illusion damage. These illusions are going to kill this all by themselves. Fortification is there, and KJ is going to land the Anchor Smash, but now reflected up. KJ is taking a good amount of damage. Meantime, Centaur kills off the Invoker in the mid lane. The Terrorblade does take down the tower as well. And that's a pretty nice series of wins for the L4 side. Now jump forward for the Sand King. They're going to flatten him as well. Suddenly Lycan, the only one left, has a Shapeshift. Got to prep that one. There it goes. Can he escape? Blink for... no. No Blink Stomp. That's fine. Either way, it's 2 kills and a nice set of towers as L4. This is not accurate of what just happened, but that's fine. We Forgot. Potentially in a little bit of trouble, although he's going to be just fine. Wrong is going to get silenced up. 2C running interference for him. Now the net from the Naga Siren going to catch Lycan, who's ran out of Shapeshift actually, and 2C going to close the distance and start working on that Wolf, although the Sleight of Fist mostly wasting time. We Forgot's going to jump forward one more time. Has a double edge, but he won't be able to escape if he uses it. It's going to be his death for the Lycan. And 13-12, L4. They took down a whole bunch of towers, and Terrorblade is going to be once again a huge issue. I mean, they ban out the Omni out of respect, but I think at this stage, especially after last game, you have to first ban out this Terrorblade. This dude is so incredibly deadly that if you don't ban him out and if you don't take care of him, this is going to happen. It's 21 minutes of the game, and Terrorblade is almost sitting at 10 CS a minute. That is an outrageous amount of last hitting power from the Terrorblade. Now he's a BKB Manta style. Even if the Tidehunter and Jakiro teleport down and try to stop the Terrorblade again, the Terrorblade is just going to turn around and kill them. It's as simple as that, really. If your Terrorblade is this stacked at this stage of the game, then the enemy team has not done their job correctly. So Finest, though they still are capable of bursting down the Terrorblade, it's going to be very delicate. Like, even if you catch him in the Blink Burrow Strike, if you mess up your Chain Stun for just a second, suddenly he has his BKB on, he's sundering you, and then he's at full HP and he's kicking your ass. So Lamperkat, a lot of pressure is on him this game. He doesn't have as much support. You take a look at the net worth. The Naga Siren, Centaur, and Ember Spirit not really able to heavily support Lamperkat. They'll be able to provide initiation for sure, but the Ember Spirit not really doing that much damage. It's all in the hands of the Terrorblade. Conversely, on the Finest side, we have Lycan, who's going to be doing some pretty balanced split pushing for his team. The Invoker is well able to 100-0 a whole lot of people, and then with the Alacrity and now Forge Spirits with level 4 Quas, also able to help out quite a lot as far as that base damage is concerned. So L4, a lot of their eggs are in the Terrorblade basket. Last game it didn't work out for them, but last game was an exception because there was a Necrophos on the field. This game it's going to be a lot more difficult for Finest to get that kind of lockdown on the Terrorblade, at least without him buying back. So as it stands right now, though the game still is very even, it's still a very delicate one. The Terrorblade has to be killed from Finest. There's really no way around it. For some reason, they haven't been killing him off, and they are going to very quickly start to regret the fact that they haven't done so. Lycan is going for his BKB. Roshan still hasn't been attempted a single time. But it looks like Finest, they've cleaned out all their outer tier 2 towers. The only thing that they could possibly waiting for right now is a BKB on Lycan, or Refresher Orb on Tidehunter is also worth waiting for. But any additional items are going to be, although they are going to be leaps of power for Finest, the time that you spend getting those items is going to be more effective time for the enemy team. So right now they're on a timer where they have to make plays happen, and smoking up and looking for a pickoff is a good way to start. It's going to be the Skywrath Mage who's going to get Blunked, Burrow Strike, Gush Down, and that's going to be the death of Shalom. Dead Skywrath Mage, very easily done, and after that they're going to try to make this high ground push happen. As far as high ground defense is concerned, Naga Siren, she has her song and she actually has her relic, so it's a pretty nice amount of net worth for this Naga Siren, but she's going to need a lot more than just a relic to get things done. Especially if she's facing down an enemy team with an Aegis, and they're going to send their Forge Spirits and their Wolves in, and they should be able to clean this out pretty easily. Without this Skywrath Mage, this defense of the Roshan is going to be a little bit difficult for L4 to actually come together. They are going to smoke up and make a beeline. However, they have to worry about a Sand King who is in a pretty much perfect position. The Roshan is going to be crashed though, so they won't be able to get this. But they're fighting into a Ravage as well as an Epicenter. Bidman is going to be the target focus. Hoofstomp's going to miss. Macropyre is going to miss as well, as Bidman gets a nice Deafening Blast onto 3, still being zoned out by the Ember Spirit. Ravage as well as Epicenter being charged up. They're going to throw it onto Lamperkat, but he's BKB'd, trying to go for this Roshan steal. They're going to kill off the Naga Siren as well as Invoker in the back end, trying to fight off versus everyone himself. Now Lamperkat completely surrounded. He took down the Aegis, but actually Lycan denied the Aegis. It's going to be Lamperkat going down, Lycan going down as well. Somehow, Bidman's still alive. Now Blink forward from the Sand King, supporting his friendly Invoker, and we forgot, taking a lot of damage, though still alive for right now. Has a lot of durability. He's going to double edge himself down. Mimo going to drop pretty low as well. So far, 3 for 2. Sunstrike going to connect onto 2C. Won't be enough to kill him off. He's bottling in between these right clicks of the creeps, but Bidman going to run forward. Tornado is going to clip on this Ember Spirit. Burst Strike available as well. That's going to kill off the Ember. That's going to put an end to the fight, and overall, that's going to be a 2 for 4 exchange. I don't know, I guess the charge didn't update correctly, but 2 for 4. Roshan killed by the Radiant, denied Aegis by the Lycan. Ideally would have picked it up, but that's fine. As long as Lamperkat doesn't get his hands on that one, because that would have been the worst possible scenario. That was even with, for the most part, a Whiff Ravage. It only connected onto one hero, and the Epicenter didn't really do much either. Kind of the same situation as the Ravage. But 18 to 15, and crucially, the Invoker survived. And that means he is now level 17, has his Aghanim Scepter, and he is going for a lot of Quas, surprisingly enough. Would like to see it a little bit more Wex in this build, but hey, whatever works, man. Your Tornadoes are going to be, or your Forge Spirits are going to be a lot more effective, and Ice Wall also, but generally Wex is the build after 4 points in Quas. Not really going to matter a whole ton, but either way, Finest, though they don't get the Aegis, they still take a nice fight. I think L4 should be kind of okay with how that went. Obviously, it's not ideal for them, but they prevented Finest from getting Aegis, and that means that L4 can now fight in their base without too much to be afraid of. Because right in the Roshan pit, with the BKBs, that fight was pretty much as good as it gets for them. It's only going to get worse once they have to defend against Aegis. I don't know what the plural of Aegis is. I'm not even pronouncing it correctly. It's technically Aegis, but I don't care because I'm pronouncing it Aegis because that's how I roll. So, yeah, I don't know. If they're fighting up against multiple Aegises, multiple Agi, then the defenses are going to get a lot harder. But, yeah, if they keep on crashing it and make sure that Finest are forced to fight in less than ideal circumstances, and if L4 somehow steal fights with the uses of the BKB from the Terrorblade, then the Finest side are going to be, once again, stalled out. As you see right now, they're not really doing anything. They're kind of working around the mid lane, pushing down bottom, but no real concerted goal for the Finest side until Bidman decides to go on the hunt. And he has his eyes set on a very tasty target, Ember Spirit. Oh, don't get thrown up into the air, Ember Spirit. That could be... We're going to pretend that didn't happen, Bidman. That did not happen at all. Go join the rest of your team and stop messing around, because your team is trying to win here. Come on, man. Radiance and the Naga Siren now up. It's a nice item to have, but it's not going to be a huge pickup, as the Courier, in a little bit of trouble, will be defended. She needs more time in order to get to that truly terrifying Naga Siren position, because right now her illusions, though they are maxed out, are very easily taken care of from Finest. So Naga Siren, usually after this, you go for Boots of Travel. I don't really know if that's necessary since all of her lanes are going to be pushed in, so just going straight Heart might not be too bad, but either way, Naga Siren needs more items if she actually wants to be a threat. Radiance is a good starting point, but she needs more. Bidman, I sure hope you don't do this. Yeah, he's just going to book it. Can't really risk that as Terrorblade is coming around from the side. He has to watch out from the stomps, and he's going to get concussive. Forced after the high ground. Ember Spirit can't give chase, but he's going to decide better of it. Finest, they have all of their AoE team fights available. They have the Refresher Orb on the Tidehunter, and that is probably going to be the hugest leap of power that they have in this entire game. Lycan with the BKB is going to be another one. So get those 2 items on your respective heroes, and then go for a push, because after that, though you are going to get stronger, the enemy team is going to get stronger faster. Now Song and Siren going to catch Wrong and KJ. However, the Song is going to let them both live. That was actually really, really lucky by Finest. They didn't have any intention of doing anything there. Like, if they found someone, great, but they weren't looking for it. They forced out the Song. They weren't even trying to force out a Song. This is a huge green light for them. They don't have the Refresher Orb nor the BKB just yet. So this could be a case where they're going a little bit too ahead of themselves. I mean, Song of the Siren's cooldown is pretty large, so they can afford to wait. Lamperkat is also going to use Shapeshift and BKB. Oh my god, Finest just got a huge, huge victory right here. They literally spent nothing. They didn't do jack. They used Alacrity and Necrobooks, and they pulled out the BKB, they pulled out the Song of the Siren, and the Metamorphosis. You just wait right now if you're Finest. You get these items back on your courier, which is holding the BKB recipe, and Refresher Orb has already been delivered. So they just got the biggest win that you could possibly ask for at this stage of the game. If they don't take Raxus here, then hell, it's just not going to happen, because once the Metamorphosis runs out on Terrorblade, he's going to be pretty much a non-factor. They're going to breach the high ground. Tier 3 already very weak. They're going to take it down. We forgot to land a nice 2-man summon to Bidman, but here's Ravage number 1. Getting attacked down to 4. Not going to save his Lycan, though. Didn't get the BKB off. Ravage number 2 is there as well. Here comes the Epicenter onto We Forgot, as well as Ember Spirit. He's going to drop down first, although KJ going to stay in the Mystic Flare. He's going to go down first. The Terrorblade thrown up into the air, looking for a Sunder. Will find it as well. Bidman can't get the Tornado out fast enough, and they've lost too many. Now 2C going to look for Bidman. Not going to find him. Off to the right side is going to be Naga Siren looking for targets as well. Invoker going to kill off 2C at the end of the day, and Sand King as well as Mimo still trying to hunt down this Naga Siren. Blink forward for a burst that will kill her off, if not just the burn damage. Bidman is going to TP out as well. Back to safety. That was a huge defense from L4. They didn't have their Metamorphosis. They didn't have the Song of the Siren. Yet they defend. That was double Ravage. Lycan, I don't really know what happened. He just got obliterated by someone. I wish still we could see individual hero recaps, because I would love to see what happened there. I didn't get a good sight on that, but Lycan didn't do jack in that fight. I mean, he popped up some Necro units, and that's about it. So Finest, they had an opportunity of a lifetime. They use it to get a tier 3 tower. L4, they are so incredibly strong right now with this Terrorblade. Like, he got the Sunder off at the perfect time. He was at like 100 HP, swapped it all back into the Invoker, and Invoker, if you didn't get all that health drained from him, then he would have been more than okay to just keep on the fight. But unfortunately, he was forced to fall back. So Finest, they're held off for now. It's not the end of it, as Roshan is going to be respawning in, I believe, 3 minutes. I think that's what the clock said about a minute ago. So we'll be seeing that relatively soon. But Terrorblade will have Metamorphosis, BKB, and now a completed Butterfly. There's no one on Finest with an MKB. They have to chain stun this Terrorblade, and if they don't, they're definitely going to be regretting it. Still, the Invoker burst potential is extremely high, but Naga Siren, off of that last fight, she actually didn't get that much. If she survived that, then she would have been loaded, but she didn't get as many kills or assists as I really thought, and she's still only holding on to 1100 gold after the Radiance. She needs to get a heart. She needs to make these illusions tanky so that they could push out the waves. Push out top lane, push out bottom lane, and then just buy time for the Terrorblade to farm just a little bit more. Because Terrorblade is really, again, the only hope that L4 have outside of this Naga Siren, and Naga Siren's going to need a lot more time. Finest, they have double Ravage in 40 seconds, and they're going to make sure to split push as much as they can before that actually happens. I think going for Roshan might be the smart decision here for Finest, although we know what happened last time when they tried to go for a Roshan. Bad things happened. Ember Spirit, wow, is going to kill off Bidman. I'm sorry, guys. I probably should have been watching that one. I just completely slipped up there, and, well, mega kill going to drop in favor of the Ember Spirit. Ton of gold for him. And now he almost has his first Battle Fury completed. This is going to be an extraordinarily slow Battle Fury. Like, this is going to be one of the slowest Battle Furies I've ever seen on any hero. That being said, it's still an item that's going to help L4 do some damage. And when you're talking about Lycan Wolves and Forge Spirits, then Battle Fury is going to be absolutely instrumental in clearing off those waves. So it's a nice little item pickup for the Ember Spirit, as slow as it may be. Finally, Tier 1 tower in the mid lane is going to go down, and Terrorblade still holding onto the most power in this game by a long shot. KJ potentially in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't want to die right now, although if he does die, it's not the biggest deal in the world. He's going to spot the fact that he's very quickly going to be surrounded. He's going to try to hide and blink, run away. Searing Chains, Song of the Siren. I mean, KJ, you were kind of just asking for that, bro. Sorry, Tidehunter, you lose. Good day, sir. 60 minutes and he is down, and just like that, Roshan is back up. The worst possible time for your core Tidehunter to die, as that is going to be Roshan, a possibility for Roshan rather, for L4. They're not gonna have to worry about Ravage, let alone double Ravage. Epicenter is still deadly, especially with the Veil of Discord at the Sand King's disposal. But it looks like instead L4, they're not going to go for Roshan. They're just going to go straight for the mid lane, and Wrong, you have to clean this up. There you go. Get these wolves out of there. So L4, they're going to blink forward. Wrong's going to slowly shapeshift, but this is the chain from Lycan, biting him in the ass. No BKB beforehand. He's going to get demolished. That's another 50 seconds where Finest are not at their full strength. Then L4, they're going to be looking for this tier 2 tower. Metamorphosis and a whole crap ton of illusions going to tear down this tier 2 tower. It's going to be fortified, but hell, I don't even know if the fortification can hold out. It will, because that's how it works, guys. But Terrorblade is going to take that tower down. Are they really going to back up here? Yeah, they're respecting double Ravage, and I like that. They could go for Roshan, though. They don't have that much damage from the Terrorblade illusions once he goes into the Roshan pit, but still, if he's doing 330 damage a pop, that's okay. I'm happy with that. I would like to see his illusions tank for them, but instead of doing literally nothing, but that's fine, because Roshan is going to be tanked up by We Forgot. He's going to be regenerating pretty decently, and, well, Finest, they have to know about this. They should know about this. This is going to be pretty freaking obvious. They should Sunstrike scout this, but it's too late. Even if they mobilized right now, and if they all had haste runes, they couldn't get here in time. Actually, if they all had haste runes, they might be able to get here, like, now, but it's still too late. Aegis going the way of the Ember Spirit, and Lamperkat feeling so comfortable at his position that he's going to give that one to a hero that's doing less damage and has much less net worth. In fact, has half of the net worth of his own. So Roshan going the way of L+4 Invoker. Still getting stronger and stronger, but really needs something like a Sheep Stick in order to lock down this Lycan. Eul Scepter, lock down the Terrorblade rather. Eul Scepter isn't going to cut it. Rely on double Ravages is nice. Ice Path and Burrow Strike as well, but a Sheep Stick is going to be the best item that Finest can pick up, because you get rid of the Sunder possibilities, and at the same time, Naga Siren has gone for those travels. She's starting to become stronger and stronger as well. Finest, they might be once again waiting just a little bit too long. They're going to drop a Meteor Deafening Blast. Sunstrike is going to miss, as Bidman now going to get chased down by a very, very fast Terrorblade. Into the Ghost Walk he goes, and there's no true sight here on anyone, in fact. So they all will get out alive. Naga Siren, though, still burning down. Sunstrike, I don't think he's going to get this one. No, she has too much health at this point, but that's a lot of wasted time, I suppose, for L4. Invoker's going to make a beeline straight for the middle lane, and he's going to go for that Cheap Stick, as I said before. So if he needs that one, that's going to be another huge jump of power for him. But L4, they're playing the slow and steady race. Now the Eye of Scotty completed on the Terrorblade, so he's sitting at 2300 HP, incredibly tanky, difficult to kill, although he can't withstand double Ravages unless he has BKB up. So the timing is going to be very important for Finest to get in these fights if they actually want to kill this TB off. And I think they probably should want to kill this TB off, because if they don't, it is going to be very, very messy for them. L4, they're going to smoke up and look for something. They're going to run to the enemy jungle, and they might run into this Tidehunter once again. If they could kill him off, eliminate the possibility for double Ravage, they are going to push and probably end up taking Raxes, although they'll be pushing with the intention of just forcing out the buyback. There's one Ravage from KJ. Has another one as well. He's going to try to blink and TP out of here. Searing Chains, Searing Chains, Searing Chains. And there it is. KJ is going to go down at the exact same time. Bottom lane. Well, nothing's going to happen there. But the Tidehunter is down, and now what L4 are thinking, we have Aegis on the Ember Spirit. We're incredibly powerful. Let's force the buyback of that Tidehunter. And then, once they get to this point, they're going to be like, hey, Tidehunter has no buyback. Let's just take Raxes. Because Terrorblade, once he uses Metamorphosis, he's going to be tearing down shit left, right, and center. So this is a nice push for L4. Big opportunity for them. EMP, Tornado, not really going to be doing that much just yet. Wex is actually pretty high levels, but still not enough. Ice path, ice walls everywhere, and now Lamperkat right in the front lines. Nemo's gonna get chained down the floor. That's gonna be the death of the Jakiro. Here comes Wrong, diving right in as well as the epicenter. Lamperkat not using the BKB just yet, instead not even moving. Now pauses the BKB. After all the magic damage is through, he's gonna sunder the Sand King, but now he's gonna be forced to run. Ember Spirit's right back alive due to the Aegis. He needs to get out of here. Doesn't have any more spirits available though. The Yule Scepter as the Terrorblade just get thrown right into the air, and now the Song of the Siren to stop everything. They're thinking of fighting this one. They're thinking of leaving. They're kind of doing both. Bidman's going to lay down another tornado. It's going to clip onto the Skywrath Mage. Now Burrow Strike into Lamperkat. Doesn't have a Sunder. Ravage number 2 is there. And Lamperkat as well as Shalom are both going to be bowled over. They apparently did not get the memo that the Naga Siren sent out saying, guys, we have to get the hell out of here because they stayed for way, way too long. And that offense was just so botched by the L4 side. Like, first of all, Terrorblade, I guess his objective was to get low so that he could sunder someone. But I think just going for BKB first and then not taking out the damage and then waiting for yourself to drop low just the regular way is a little bit of a safer way to go. That was a much easier defense for Finest than it really should have been. They used one of their Ravages. They'll have another one in 70 seconds. They should probably wait for double. But now they're going to try to push in. Terrorblade's going to be up by the time they get anywhere deadly, though, so Finest can't really do anything off of this. Yet L4, they really screwed that one up. They should have just all left with the Naga Siren or stayed with the Naga Siren. And Naga Siren was leaving, so you gotta leave too. I mean, it's not a good idea to stay, as powerful as TB may be. If he gets chain stunned, he's not going to survive. Skywrath Mage is going to respawn. They have another 20 seconds, Finest dude, where they're going to try to be going for this melee set of racks. It's going to be extremely narrow, but they may just get it. They have no Ravages, however. Ice Path is going to collect 2C. Now the Stomp forward. Wrong's in the BKB form. Mystic Flare is going to be all absorbed by the Song of the Siren, as Wrong still going to go for these Raxes. He's going to try to run against the net. Song of the Siren will wear off, and Wrong going to drop very low. He will go down. The Rox is going to drop at 2C, though, and the Raxes still stand. Someone focus these Raxes. The Necro unit is going to be the hero. No, it's not going to be the hero. 8 HP, it survives. And now the Sand King is on the run. Everyone else from Finest has already left. Ghostwalk for Invoker. He's going to make a secret mission. He's going to take out the Raxes. Sand King trying to Burrow Strike his way out. He won't make it happen, but Bidman is going to take down the Raxes. Triple kill for the Naga Siren. And 3 heroes from the Finest side have buyback. Sand King, Tide Hunter, as well as the Invoker. As well as the Lycan, rather. That being said, can they actually make this defense happen? The Terrorblade is going to be barreling down the middle lane. He's lagging behind a little bit, but the rest of his team is putting a lot of momentum there. The Ember Spirit not too powerful. The Naga Siren's slowly getting there. She doesn't actually have that much aside from the Radiance since before. Boots of Travel is not a fighting item. Ultimate Orb is nice, but it's not really enough. This is going to have to be 3 buybacks on the Finest side, else they lose their mid-Raxes. There's one from the Lycan. Invoker is one of the best counter-pushing heroes you could possibly ask for, especially with so much Wex. Suddenly, L+4, they're all out of mana, and they can't really comfortably go for this. Although, if they're going to initiate with Stampede, Wrong, going to BKB, and then slowly start to Shapeshift. Now he's just got to run, in fact. He's going to try to go turn around for We Forgot, but Lamperkat is going to take down Tier 3, and then Song of the Siren is going to cover the retreat. Buyback from the Sand King is going to force the full retreat from L4. And that is going to be that. Range Rax is going to take a little bit of damage, but nothing to write home about. The melee Raxes have been taken and defended by the Finest side. Now the question is, can they do anything with this? They don't have buybacks, and they are working with the Sheep Stick. Nothing really that they're waiting for. They have double Ravages. This is pretty much Finest at their strongest right now. Dare I say Finest at their finest. But Roshan, not going to be available just yet. In fact, it's quite a ways away until we get to know how long it's going to actually take to respawn. Mantis Style is up on the Naga Siren, though. This is going to a point where L4 are becoming dangerously powerful on more heroes than one. You see the Naga Siren slowly climbing in the net worth chart, slowly approaching that Invoker's status. So, Finest, they have to make something happen. 1 melee Raxes is fantastic, but it's not good enough. They need more, and they're going to try to go for it all in the bottom lane. Jakiro is going to put a little bit more pressure down mid, and they have to worry about top lane, because these Terrorblade illusions are actually doing nothing against backdoor protection. Thank God for that. Did like 4 damage to the tower. Oh no, our tower is going to go down. But here we go, Finest. They have double Ravage. They're going to get initiated upon by We Forgot. Can land a 1-man Hoof Stomp, taking a lot of damage from these Forge Spirits, though. Where's the rest of Finest? They're actually all in the top lane. We Forgot going to pop the BKB now, and he needs to get more lockdown onto Wrong. The Shapeshift isn't there just yet. He's going to Shapeshift by sitting the Mystic Flare while he does so. Now the BKB and the run out. He is damn fast, and I don't think anyone can catch him. Ember Spirit can try. Centaur can try. But they're not going to catch him. There's the chains, and they are going to catch him. Now Wrong's going to get burned down. He's dead. I don't know why Finest decided to split up like that. It was fine in the top lane. The Terrorblade wasn't putting any more pressure there. Now with the Lycan down for 70 seconds, doesn't have a buyback either. This is a huge opening for L4, especially if they get KJ here. Booty Travel is being picked up on the Terrorblade, and still the Sand King is looking to... No, he's not going to be sneaky. But Naga Siren's farming all around the map. Match Style is up on her. She's going to be going for a Diffusal Blade next. And Finest, they botched that opportunity. I mean, they could have gotten a nice 5v5 and probably made something happen. It wouldn't have been as clean as just having one person die and everyone else living, but still, it probably would have came out in their favor. Regardless now, they're 30 seconds without their Lycan, and 2C is getting dangerous as well. He's holding on to Crit as well as Battle Fury. Not the most threatening in the world, especially when you compare it to Terrorblade, who's sitting on all of these items. But Finest, they're so 100% reliant on the double Ravage that if they botch that, they're just going to lose a fight straight after. So, Finest, 10 seconds until Lycan's back up again. What can they do with this? Roshan is alive right now, and that's going to be a cheese Roshan. Finest, they can kill off Roshan's pretty easily because Lycan is one of the best at killing him off, and they'll have the Gush minus armor plus Invoker damage as well. Going for Roshan is probably what they need to do, but at this point, the Naga Siren is in full effect. This is Naga Siren status right here. She's going to be pushing out literally every single wave, and she's going to be taking so much farm from it. She's sitting at 3,300 gold, and Finest, they're backed up in a corner. To be fair, this is exactly what happened last game. They found their way out of it, so they're not completely out of this game just yet, but with a 14k gold disadvantage and a 10k EXP disadvantage as well, they're going to need a phenomenal fight. All of a sudden, if they take that, they'll be right back in this, but that fight is going to have to be the best thing that they could possibly ask for. They're going to smoke up, and they're going to run into a whole mess of heroes. They're going to mess up the Blink and a Force Staff, though. Not a great way to start, and now they're going to catch eyes into everyone. They're rather clumped up. They're going to be completely surrounded, in fact, as Sand King looking for the Terrorblade. They're not going to find anyone. In fact, they're going to see now Shalom Bidman looking for a Tornado, perhaps. There it is. It's going to fly and miss everyone. Still in the mid lane, it's being pushed in. Top lane's being pushed in. Bottom lane also being pushed in. Finest, they have to back up and defend. It was a good attempt. Good idea. But they have to reset, reload, and wait for a little while longer. Double Ravage, again, still available. But L4, they're just constricting the map and denying all the space to Finest. They really can't go anywhere without having some other lanes being pushed in. And Lamperkat, he's one item away from being 6-slotted. Sell the power treads, get something like a heart, or even get something like a crit would be pretty fantastic for him. Or grab a double damage rune and kill Roshan. Oh, come on. Are you serious? I mean, yeah, it's good to refill your bottle, but still, man. Come on. This Roshan will be dead by now if Terrorblade took that. This might actually end up biting them in the ass because the rest of Finest are coming in. The Invoker does have travels, although he doesn't have anything good to travel into. He could travel into a wolf. They're going to smoke up. And Lamperkat and 2C, they're spotted out completely. Shapeshift is there, but a huge 3-man stomp from We Forgot. Mystic Flare is going to whiff for the most part. Ravage number 1, going to catch onto 3. Ravage number 2, going to catch onto 3 as well. Ice Path is there, but where's the Invoker? He's in the base. Finest cannot fight without their Invoker. It's suicidal attempts from Finest. They're going to lose 2. The Aegis is still available, and it's going to be brought down. KJ can do nothing except for try to steal something. He ends up just beating himself. Oh, man. That was a terrible, terrible decision. Bidman is nowhere near that. He's going to throw a Tornado, and as good as Invoker's defense is, it's not this good. He's going to try to kill off Lamperkat, but now slowed down by the Scotty. He's going to try to book it. Has a Ghost Walk available. He will go straight into that form. No True Sight here for L4, but that doesn't matter. The Finest side are down with their double Ravage. Even though the Tidehunter may be able to buy back, it doesn't matter. He won't be able to do anything because the Terrorblade is still at full HP. The Aegis is on the Ember Spirit. Where's the cheese? Cheese. I don't know where the cheese is. Maybe the Tidehunter denied it, but either way, now Tornado back up onto Lamperkat. He's still working on those Rax's backdoor protection, holding him out for now, though. 2C can hit with the Epicenter. He's going to go down first, and Lamperkat dropping pretty low as well, looking for the Sunder. Gets hexed up, though, and Terrorblade is going to go down. He wishes he has the Aegis right now. Naga Siren also in the back end has to leave, as We Forgot, as well as 2C can chop through everyone. Lycan's back up in 4 seconds. Buyback from the Sand King, as for We Forgot in the BKB form, looking for anyone he can get his hands on. Still, the Raxes are alive. They are being worked down without the Terrorblade. They just simply don't have enough damage. Now Wrong coming in from the back. Will shapeshift in. Now try to go for We Forgot. Will paw him pretty low, and that's going to be an unstoppable streak going for Lycan. Who else can they get? Shalom doesn't have enough mana to TP, although he will have it soon enough. Tornado will fly. Will miss, but it will spot him out, I believe. They have a Blink Dagger up in 3, 2, 1. And they're going to now blink forward for Shalom. They need a Cold Snap. They need anything. They won't get it. But it's still 2 heroes down. They're going to push forward and force the buyback. They don't lose the Raxes. Miraculously, they hold their Raxes, and now they're going to try to clean up the rest of the mid lane. Terrorblade is going to buy back. It's not really going to bother his funds that much. In fact, he's still sitting on the Reaver after selling those power treads. But in Finest, they should be able to take these range Raxes, and L4, I don't think they should defend. Unnecessarily aggressive defense, and they're going to jump forward for a stomp onto Mimo. No Ravages up on the Tidehunter. That's going to be the Mimo Jakiro dead. Tornado's not going to do enough. Everyone else should be able to escape successfully. Bidman teleporting away, Sand King teleporting away, KJ, you better not farm another camp, man. I will frickin' lose it. Oh, please, man. This is so greedy from this Tidehunter. He does have vision of anyone coming in, but shit, that's what got him punished the last time. Oh, KJ. There's heroes coming, man. There's heroes coming. You better TP out, like, right frickin' now. Please leave. Please leave. Okay. Whew. It's okay, guys. He left. He stuck the landing. And he has double Ravage in 15 seconds. Somehow, some way, Finest don't end up losing anything mid. Mostly because the backdoor protection was what's saving their asses. Terrorblade could have carved out everything if not for that backdoor protection. And now Finest, they have another shot. They're still losing in this race. They're facing down a Naga Siren who's getting increasingly towards that 6-slotted role. Almost catching up to the Invoker. Top lane is being pushed in by the Terrorblade. Mid lane being pushed in by the Naga Siren. And slowly but surely, Finest are going to be restricted on all their space. It might be time for Finest to think about just going for a YOLO push, because really, it's going to get just worse from here on out. L4, if they play this right, they're not going to be fighting any 5-on-5 engagements. They're going to be 100% avoiding it, split pushing with all their illusion-based heroes. That's going to take so much time and effort for Finest to kill off, because Lycan actually isn't doing that much damage right now. He has a Necrobook BKB, so he's able to survive, kind of, but what damage item does he have? Answer, none. He's not even at Assault Cuirass right now, has to save gold constantly for buyback, and even if he does have an Assault Cuirass, it's just simply not going to cut it. So 100% of the damage from Finest is in this teamfight AoE combination of theirs. And although that is fairly devastating, it is something that L4 can just overcome with enough time. So Finest, they have to just go for a push and try to end the game. Whether it's go for the mid lane and try to just end the game right there, or just go down the top or bottom lane and try to just take a second set of Raxes, doing anything but that and just trying to defend everywhere is just going to result in their doom, because they cannot take this in the late game. Naga Siren is pretty much 6-slotted. Like, she could get her heart, she could ship out her bottle, she could upgrade her Diffusal Blade, but those are all minor jumps in power compared to where she is at right now. Assault Grass is completed, and Finest know that this is do or die for them. They're going to go down the mid lane, and if this doesn't work, I think this might just be a game. Not because they'll lose the game straight after. They might even continue fighting, but it'll show that they can't get anywhere with this game. Like, they won't be able to win. Not to say that, okay, GG, not because they lose, but because they won't be able to win. How's that? They're going to go in with all their units, but they're all going to teleport back. Bidman and Wrong are going to secure the range racks. That's nothing to write home about. Now they're going to get hexed up onto We Forgot. Bidman dropping very low already. Deafening Blast onto 3. Very nicely done. The EMP is going to blast as well, but Invoker up into the air can't really do much. He's going to fall down, and Sand King going to look to channel Epicenter. Pipe and BKBs are up everywhere, so this Epicenter going to do less than nothing. I don't know why they once again split up their forces. Finest, they do take the Raxes, but actually they don't lose anyone just yet. They lose a Sand King. This is going to definitely happen. There we go. Sand King down, Epicenter down. But Finest, they use a Ravage as well to do something. Did he really try to defend with the Ravage? He had to, I guess. They lose the Sand King, and L+4, they don't really do anything like in order to prompt that, really. They just split push. That's the name of the game, just split push. BKB is going to be up soon enough for Terrorblade. The only cooldown that L+4 are actually reliant upon is the Metamorphosis. And even then, they could still fight because Terrorblade is doing so much freaking damage right now. Naga Siren has completed her heart. She's going to run that one out to her shortly, I'm sure. Ember Spirit, taking a quick look at him, hasn't really been progressing as much with his items. But once he gets his Daedalus, then he's going to be a large problem for Finest as well. The worst thing that Finest could do right now is just let this game continue as is. They have to make something decisive. They have to go for a push and not split up their forces. Sack a set of Raxes if it means taking a set of your own, because you're not going to be winning this game in the long run. You can't both defend and take a lane from the enemy. It's just simply impossible at this point. And L4, they're just playing it patiently. They have all the time in the world to get Naga Siren 6-slotted, and then get Ember Spirit 6-slotted, and then hell, get an Assault Cuirass or a Shiva's Guard for the Centaur, who's still doing his job pretty damn well. they're chilling. It's all downhill here from L4. They know that the longer they wait, the better they'll be in this game. As Daedalus is now picked up from the Ember Spirit, another nice damage item for him, or I guess the first real nice damage item for him. And Finest, though they do have the Assault Cuirass, it is not going to be nearly enough to win you the game, especially when you have single Terrorblade illusions running in and killing your range racks. I mean, what could you do about that as Tidehunter? There's nothing really you could do at all. And now, like Finest, their Tidehunter is losing a battle with a Terrorblade illusion. Like, this is not good times for Finest. They have to make something happen, and they're not. Dare I say it, 52 minutes in, and though they're still fighting, if they keep playing like this, it's just going to be game over. More illusions up on the top lane for Terrorblade, just sending them in. And now Finest, they're going to group up as 5. Please don't send anyone to do anything else. Force the GG. Race them if you have to, because your time is like pretty much up. Like, this advantage is damn hard to come back from. And if you sit back, it's not going to be you coming back from it. That's just going to be you losing. So going for the GG push right now. This is going to be it. I think this might be the last push of the game. Siren's gonna buy her heart right beforehand. Huge army being summoned. We forgot gonna look for a jump in, messing up his hoof stomp though. Mystic Flare is also going to whiff as the Ravage #1 is gonna pop out. Hit onto 3. We forgot is gonna absorb that with BKB. Scarith Mage already torn to shreds, and now here comes the epicenter from the Sand King, although we got interrupted. In fact, he can't get it out. The Terrorblade in the middle of everything, gonna try to go for wherever he can get. And the Ice Path is going to cover their retreat for now. Naga Siren dropping pretty low. She's going to be just fine, however. Shackles onto Mimo, another Skywrath Mage ultimate. He has an Aghanim Scepter? No, he doesn't. He just has it on a low cooldown. Sunstrike is going to whiff onto the Naga Siren, but there's 2 down for Finest, and they have no double Ravage anymore. That has got to be game. Naga Siren's up into the air with a Tornado, but Bidman, he may have a Ghost Walk to invoke, but it's not going to be entirely relevant. Just go down the middle lane for L4, because Finest, they are out of gas. They have double Ravage, which was 100% of their hopes and dreams, and they had the Sand King Epicenter, which didn't come about. They had a decent team fight there, but they just didn't have enough items. They're just getting so overwhelmed with the item power that L4 have right now that it's just going to be L4 moving down the mid lane. They've already taken down, in fact, the entirety of the top lane. Lamperkat took that down before he teleported back, and now he's going to tear down the mid lane as well. Lycan's got to buy back if they want to defend this, but even with fortification, I don't think it's going to happen. Refresher Orb on the Invoker. It's great and everything, but it's no Ravage. That's 2 sets of Raxes down. Huge crits onto KJ. Oh my god. Mystic Flare as well, almost killing him off straight away. And, well, the whole base is full of illusions. Just illusions everywhere from L4. They're just going to go straight for it. They're going to get stampeded out of the ice wall. The tower does go down. Bidman in an awkward position. He's going to catch 2C. Up in the front lines, Courier is going to go down. That's a really expensive Courier as well. What is holding a full Necro Book? I don't really think it's going to matter too much in the end, as Invoker has Refresher Orb instead. KJ still just waiting for his Ravagers. Lamperkat's going to tear down the range racks. His BKB tear down the melee ones as well. And GG is called. These 2 games were insanely good, guys. And in the end, it's going to be 1-1. Finest going to take game #1, and Lamperkat +4 are going to take game #2. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this here on UGC League. It's going to be more games next Sunday, guys. That's where you're going to find it. And I actually think there's going to be more games like soon. I don't really know the complete schedule, but head over to ugcleague.com and check everything out there. I'm Mikelorus. If you enjoyed my casting, you could follow me on Twitter at Mikelorus. And also, I'm a caster for Hefla TV, so at Hefla TV1 and at Hefla TV2 is where you're going to find us on Twitch. Hefla TV 1 and 2 is us on Twitch, and then at Hefla TV is us on Twitter as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go relax after these 2 games, and well, and I'll see you guys next week. GG.